What is going on, guys? It is Wrestlelamia here, back with some more news. Join us now as Wrestlelamia looks at the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know, including the favorite to win the Royal Rumble, Tessa Blanchard reaches new lows, questions over Brandy Rhodes pulling out of Chris Jericho's wrestling cruise, Goldberg responds to Roman Reigns' insult, NXT women in the Royal Rumble may have been spoilt by Fox, and Charlotte Flair claims she has the highest losing record in WWE. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos. But let's waste no further time and get straight into the first story, as we look at the favorite to win the Royal Rumble. As Wrestlelamia has noted in the past, there are odd makers who predict the winners of major wrestling events, including the Royal Rumble. According to a story at Ringside News, WWE bets are listing Roman Reigns as a clear favorite to win the 2020 Men's Royal Rumble match. Second most likely is Drew McIntyre, with Cain Velasquez coming in third. We're not quite impressed by these picks, as we polled a class of 5th graders who came up with the same results. Reigns seems like a lock, as there have been rumors of the big dog battling the Fiend at WrestleMania for several months now. As for Drew McIntyre and Cain Velasquez, both men have been mentioned as possible candidates for challenging Lesnar, despite the WWE strongly denying Velasquez would be fighting Brock soon. Perhaps even more interesting is that the odds checker has the following superstars ranked for winning the Men's Rumble match. Number 4, Edge. Number 5, CM Punk. Number 6, Kevin Owens. Number 7, Brock Lesnar. Number 8, Aleister Black. Number 9, Finn Balor. And number 10, Keith Lee. If WWE wanted to pull out a shock, these would certainly be it. Who are your top 3 picks for the Royal Rumble? Let me know in the comments down below. Next up, Goldberg responds to Roman Reigns' insult. As we reported in our recent news video, there's reason why Roman Reigns uses a cushion when he punches the entrance ramp on the way to the ring. Reigns answered a fan's question about the cushion and gave a not-so-subtle swipe at Bill Goldberg. Bill Goldberg responded back saying, "One of those come on man ESPN moments. I'll stick with my old school ways. Seems to have worked 99% of the time. We all have bad days. I tend to tap into an entirely different level of intensity. Doesn't work for everyone. Kinda like the difference between UGA and Georgia Tech." As we've been saying for months now, social media has become the latest platform to build up heat for future matches, with promotions hoping to create the appearance of shoot comments when 95% of the time they are work shoots. As Cageside Seats' G. Morosco observed, it was such an out-of-nowhere bit of shade it led to the obvious speculation that perhaps it was laying some groundwork for a possible match between the two. There's another Saudi Arabia show coming up next month after all. Would you guys be interested in seeing Roman Reigns battle Bill Goldberg? And if the match happens, who do you think will go over? Personally, we think Bill will pass on the torch to Roman Reigns. After all, they use the same finishes. Next up, Mustafa Ali discusses overcoming stereotypes. Mustafa Ali was recently interviewed by NBC 14 News in Indiana, speaking about his journey to the WWE and a number of topics, including the pressure he experienced when he first broke into the wrestling industry. The 33-year-old superstar spoke about how at 16 he faced the choice of being pigeonholed as a villain into his background as a Muslim and person of Pakistani and Indian descent. Ali explained how he asked himself, "Do you chase your dream and sell out yourself, or what do you do?" So my solution was, I actually wore a luchador mask when I first started out to hide the fact I was Muslim, to hide the fact that I was Pakistani and Indian. I had to hide that. Now I get to stand on national television on SmackDown proudly saying my name and people chant Ali. It's come full circle. Ali's WWE career has its share of bad moments in 2019, but he remains optimistic, and given his talent and popularity, 2020 could be his breakout year. Next up, fans dispute Brandy Rhodes' reason for missing the Jericho cruise. Chris Jericho's Rock and Wrestling Rager at Sea Part 2 wrestling cruise will feature a number of wrestlers, both legends and current performers, but one person who won't be there is Brandy Rhodes, who recently tweeted her passport had been stolen, thus preventing her from making the cruise. Rhodes deleted the tweet, but when someone tweeted that if you have a valid photo ID and your birth certificate, you can go on the cruise since it begins and ends at the same port. You don't have to miss this. Rhodes then replied, "I wasn't scheduled to be on the cruise the entire time. I have to get back to the States to deliver an important keynote, which means an international flight. Not possible." Rhodes is scheduled to speak at the National Association of Television Program Executives convention, so do you think Rhodes overbooked herself, or is this a legitimate reason? Let me know in the comments down below. Next up, Dustin Rhodes is ambushed by a scorpion. The artist formerly known as Goldust recently tweeted that he'd been waylaid by a scorpion. No, we're not talking about the Mortal Kombat character or the Spider-Man villain, but an honest-to-goodness venomous arachnid. Dustin posted a picture of the scorpion, informing his fans, "Just got tagged on the foot by a scorpion in the shower. Bastard came up out of the drain. Foot's on fire. Hopefully it's nothing too serious." Next up, Tessa Blanchard reaches new low. Tessa Blanchard recently denied allegations that she used the N-word to a fellow wrestler, but one of the persons alleging bullying by Blanchard is now claiming Blanchard is digging up dirt on her accusers. Allison Kay, who worked in TNA and Impact as Sienna, recently tweeted, "I said what I had to say, so I'd love to move on, but I just got several messages about Tessa Blanchard trying to spread lies. Unfortunately for you, I built up my 11-year reputation on being respectful. Instead of owning up to your mistakes, you lie, scheme, and prove you haven't changed." Kay posted screenshots of messages warning her that Blanchard has been trying to collect information to discredit her. She then tweeted, "This is one reason people don't speak up. It's also one of the reasons I felt I needed to be the one to do so. I have a thick skin. There's no dirt on me. I have a large platform and amount of colleagues who vouch for me. I'd gladly absorb the front light of idiocy to shield my friend." The story continues to get more fascinating, and one can't help but wonder how Impact will react if allegations against Blanchard prove true. Next up, has Fox spoiled a number of surprises in the Royal Rumble? The Royal Rumble is creeping up closer and closer as it airs this Sunday. WWE so far have only announced 4 entrants for the Women's Royal Rumble, 2 from Raw, that being Charlotte Flair and Sarah Logan, and 2 from SmackDown, Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross. There may be a number of surprise entrants, but Fox on WWE may have spoilt a few. In their tweet that flashes a number of superstars amongst a number of other SmackDown and Raw superstars, they include some NXT stars. Shayna Baszler, Toni Storm, Kacy Catanzaro, Tegan Nox, Piper Niven, Mia Yim, Bianca Belair, and Io Shirai are all in the post. Meltzer also spoke on the possibility of NXT women being featured in the Rumble. The story broke that there will be a lot of NXT people in the Rumble. I'm sure that's the plan, and I'm sure that they'll be on the women's side, because how are they going to get 30 women without using NXT talent? I think that Shayna Baszler is probably going to be, it wouldn't surprise me if she wins the Rumble, but she's going to be a favourite to win. And our last story, Charlotte Flair claims to have the highest losing record in WWE. Whilst the Queen Charlotte Flair has the most Raw and SmackDown title wins of all time, she herself admitted that she has the highest loss record in WWE. In an interview with Sportskeeda's Gary Cassidy, she mentioned, "Okay, are you ready for a promo? Here's my exclusive promo. If you look at my stats, I have the highest losing record out of anyone on the roster. I think a detriment to me, which is also a positive, is that I am consistent. I am consistent, I'm never hurt, and I'm always here." It's almost like, yes, that is awesome, but at the same time I've never had the opportunity for fans to miss me because I'm always here. That's what people forget. Yes, I won a match this week and they're like, "Oh, she wins all the time." But that's not been the case. Actually, I've lost more matches than any female booked currently. It's crazy. I think with the stigma of the Flair name always being in the title picture, but like I said, I'm consistent and a workaholic. It's a good thing, but it's a bad thing. Well, according to Cageside Internet Wrestling Database, she had a pretty bad 2019 with 35 wins, but having 100 losses and 4 draws. Flair actually had the most losses in 2019 out of any superstar. Admittedly, most of the losses will come from house shows and being in multi-women matches and not taking the pin. In total, Flair has wrestled 853 matches and has lost 363, which is approximately 42.5%. Now, Charlotte may be only talking about the women's division, which is certainly true, but if she's talking about anyone in WWE, we're pretty sure Kurt Hawkins still holds the title of the most losses recently in WWE. Out of 920 matches in total, he's lost 665 of them. That's 72.2%. Obviously, in WWE history, things are a lot different, with Steve Lombardi and The Big Show ranking at the top. But would you guys like to see the list of the most losses in WWE history? Let us know in the comments down below, subscribe if you haven't already, follow us on Instagram and Twitter, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.